investigation.
Well, the Mueller probe under fire and taking some harsh hits from all angles. A federal judge rejected Mueller's request to delay a hearing for a criminal case charging 3 Russian companies and 13 Russian citizens for sparking conflict in the U.S. ahead of the 2016 election. This decision comes just hours after a federal judge in a Manafort case slammed the investigation for its intention to oust President Trump from office. Here now to discuss, Ron Meyer, media D.C. political analyst, and back with us, Harmeet Dhillon. Ron, let me start with you. That news on Friday was really shocking. And then, of course, we saw former mayor of New York City, Rudy Giuliani, make the Sunday talk show circuit. What do you make of it all?
Well, I mean, it's nice to see the judge acknowledge what a lot of us have been thinking. You know, the anniversary of this investigation will be May 17. With a year gone, what have we seen? We've seen him go after something that has nothing to do with Russia colluding with the election. His job was to see if Russia was colluding in the election, and we haven't seen any results from that yet, a year into this thing. And so I think for Americans, this is dominating the media cycle. In some ways, Charles, I know you're noticing this, it does have a role in the stock market. And so are we actually going to see anything? There's an expression where I come from that says you got to do something or you got to get off the pot. I think it's about time for him to do something.
Yeah, put up or shut up. Harmeet, what exactly does it mean when a federal judge issues this sort of verbal rebuke or questions, like in this particular case, to the degree that we saw on Friday? Any implications from it other than probably illustrating to the public that maybe Mueller is being overzealous in his approach to this?
Maybe. What lawyers call this is a bench slap. This judge delivered an epic bench slap to the prosecutors, and it was really something because normally prosecutors are respected by the courts and don't get this kind of whiplash from the judge. So, what we are seeing here is exactly what a lot of legal commentators have been saying, is that the Mueller investigation long ago exceeded the constitutional or statutorily permitted scope. And this special counsel law is set by statute. And so it is only allowed to be used in cases where the Department of Justice has a conflict of interest. And it is not allowed to be used as free research for an impeachment trial by the Democrats. It is not allowed to be used for things that could be already prosecuted by normal prosecutors in the Department of Justice.
Right.
And so it is way far afield. And, the most shocking thing here is that the prosecutors pushed back on this judge and questioned the judge's authority to question them. And the last time I checked, the Department of Justice was something that was created by Congress to help the executive branch. It is not superior to any of the 3 branches of government. And so the arrogance of this prosecution is really coming into sharp focus for the American people.
Also, of course, now, Rudy Giuliani making so many different comments last week and then over the weekend, a lot of confusion around the payment to Stormy Daniels, the reimbursement. I want to take a listen to what he said the payment was all about, and then I want to get your response.
This was for personal reasons. This was the president had been hurt personally, not politically, personally so much, and the first lady by some of the false allegations. That one more false allegation, 6 years old. I think he was trying to help the family, and for that, the man is being treated like some kind of villain.
Ron, it does seem strange that the president had over a dozen allegations during the campaign where he just, he dismissed them. He said they weren't truthful, that he put in $100 million of his own money to run for president, that somehow he would carve out or steal or misappropriate $130,000 of that $100 million for something like this. What's your take on this?
My take on it is that we've seen countless media personalities over the last year and a half have to deal with these sorts of accusations, and that settling them outside of court is a normal happenstance sort of thing. And so to say that it's a political contribution, which is basically the allegation, I think it doesn't have any merit at all. People who are billionaires, people who are constantly in the media, people who have their own television shows have allegations arise, and they have their attorneys deal with them. And so I don't think it's anything outside of the norm. Trump settled a ton of lawsuits before, and so it's not any really surprise that he settled this one as well. And so it's like I said, it's both with the Mueller investigation and with this. They're trying to derail an agenda that's working, by the way. And so this is the only thing they can do is talk about this or talk about the Mueller probe. And here the American people are trying to wait for legislation that's not happening.
Real quickly, I got to get Harmeet. I need your opinion on this, but we've got just a few seconds. Joseph DiGiovanni Genova said that President Trump will not testify in bad faith. Should he testify at all in your mind?
No, I don't think he should testify under the scope of this investigation the way that it stands now. It is very clear from the questions that have been leaked out that these questions are, first of all, illegitimate and downright silly. There is no basis for a prosecutor to ask a sitting president what was he thinking. That's ludicrous. It invades the executive privilege. But on top of that, there is not good faith on the part of the investigation. I think that's the most critical reason why this president should refuse to cooperate.
Harmeet, thank you very much. Ron, thank you very much. Well, primary races around the country are heating up as we gear for this all-important midterm 2018. Of course, the most hotly contested one happening in West Virginia tomorrow. Why the GOP